Do we have any other elected officials in the audience that would like to approach at this time? I believe our assessor is here with a great photo that we should actually put on the overhead, but absolutely.
Can I say something about that?
Yes.
I got to tell you, I'm a little disappointed here. I believe the dog thing is Treasurer Louderman's shtick, and I don't think you can be taking somebody else's shtick, try to replicate that for yourself. I think that's a little bit of a county elected official foul, to be quite honest with you. And I wish we had the power to fine you for doing that.
And before you begin, the previous elected official that, graced us had a duck. Yeah. What gifts do you come bearing today, or awards?
Those Chuck's ducks, he's got Schlaker snakes.
Yeah. Well, Commissioners, good morning. Steve Schleicher, County Assessor. And I will tell you, Stella is a full-time employee up there at CSC on the second floor. Charlie right now is part-time. So I had no choice with the photo. I was basically told we're putting that on there. But I tell you, great dog. That's Carrie Taylor's dog, Charlie, Labradoodle. And that's probably one of the best kisses I've gotten in a long time from Charlie. So.
Dig that hole, boy.
Yeah.
Just dig that hole. This is on tape.
Yeah. But I appreciate you allowing me to come here today. I got a lot of exciting news I want to share with the board. What has happened in the assessor's office for year 2016, what's going on in 2017, and also some changes that we're implementing. Enough with the photo, so we'll move on, Commissioner Waller. So, just to recap 2016 going into 2017, there were a lot of important events that occurred last year. What I want to talk to you about, one is office statistics, partial search application, our disabled veterans senior homestead exemption, which is something that I hold dear to my heart, our recent abstract of assessment that we went ahead and submitted, the reappraisal process. As you know, every odd year in the state of Colorado is a reappraisal year. So we are extremely busy working on that this year. Our notices of value that we'll be mailing out. One thing I also want to talk to you about is the residential assessment study that the state is looking at right now. And also a new program, a new enhancement that we're going to be adding to the assessor's website. As you sit there and look at, my office has been extremely busy. You guys know the real estate market here in El Paso County has been absolutely on fire. It's pretty hot. And that information, of course, comes to my office. And when you look at the total permits received just for a 12-month period, 16,184. And to last year, that is a 33% increase from 2015. Total custom maps that my staff have done, because we do maps for all kinds of things. Folks want to know, hey, what are the sales doing in my particular neighborhood? Could you map those out? Or you got a school district that wants to go to the ballot, so they want to go ahead and get that information. But the total custom maps for last year, we saw a 73% increase that we've handled for our customers. Recorded plats were up 49%. Our active schedules from 2015 to 2016 went up 1%. TD 1000s, a 47% increase. And total deeds, 51% increase. There's a lot of buying and selling in the real estate market going on right now. One thing I always like to share with you is what's going on with the assessor's website. We all know that is a powerful tool here in our community. And we are now, steadily over 37 million hits on that website. And basically, it just shows you the statistics that Jeff's crew provides to me on a monthly basis, where you got average new sessions of roughly over 35,000 new sessions, and monthly new visitors, just shy of 9,500 new visitors hitting my site on a monthly basis. So that information and that site is being heavily used. And I tell you, one thing I also want to share with you is the new enhancement that I'll talk to you about that I know for a fact will increase the hits on the assessor's website. Just to let you know, in 2016, we received a total of 291 disabled veteran applications. We approved 283. So total within El Paso County, 1,215. Our senior homestead exemptions, we received just shy 3,000 applications and approved 2,783. And we are just nearly hitting 23,000 senior homestead exemptions in El Paso County. These two programs I hold near and dear to my heart. And I'll tell you, we have the most senior homestead exemptions in the state of Colorado. Actually, our homestead exemption actually outnumbers some counties' total population. Wow. So it's something that I take very dear, and we will always promote that and assist our seniors in that. As you saw, we finished up the 2016 abstract of assessment, and I did receive several emails from the board in regards how do we compare to other counties when it comes to different classes of property. And I'd be more than happy to sit down, you know, with individual board members and discuss that, because we can compare that to the state abstract that's done when all 64 counties are compiled. But the assessed valuation is up. Things are looking really good when it comes to the real estate market here in El Paso County. 2017, we're busy. So a lot of things going on. So my office analyzed a total of 42,676 sales compared to 26,000 sales in 2015 to determine the new level of value for our upcoming reassessment. So, you know, like I said, we doubled that. So there's a lot of activity going on. And these are real estates occurring, you know, during a 24-month time frame of July 1, 2014 to June 30th of 2016. That is the time frame. Those are the sales that we have to use statutorily to revalue the whole entire county. Here on May 1st, we're going to be mailing out the notices of value. This is where I become the most popular guy in El Paso County, sending those nice little Valentine's letters out. The notice will contain the prior actual value, the current actual value, and the net change of what's going on with an individual's particular property. I'm also going to be providing current year tax amounts along with an estimate of the probable 2017 tax amounts payable in 2018. Because, you know, a lot of our property owners, after 19 years in the assessor's office, they're like, okay, Mr. Assessor, you raised my value 10%, but I want to know the bottom line. So I include what the estimated taxes, you know, will be. The 2017 payable and 2018 property tax amounts cannot be determined until mill levies are set, and those won't be submitted to my office until December of 2017. If a property owner believes my office has incorrectly appraised a property, this is a great opportunity where they review that notice of value and contact my office. There are times where we may have a room count off or square footage off. They may not agree with the value or the condition, but this is a great opportunity for them to contact my office, and then we can, you know, take a look at their property one-on-one. The notices will also state the applicable rate of assessment.
Mr. Gonzalez?
I did have a question. Thank you, Mr.
Sorry.
President. How many people normally do respond back with wanting a corrected appraisal or a reappraisal?
That's a great question, Commissioner. In fact, in 2015, our last reappraisal year, we had a total of 3,900 appeals. Keep in mind, we have over 270,000 parcels that we're mailing out to. That is a very small number, and I tell you, just the history of the assessor's office, we do a really good job with that. So you're looking at basically 1-2% of the NOVs mailed out.
Thank you.
Absolutely. As I was stating, the notices will also state the applicable rate of assessment.
Well, before you leave that point, out of those that are appealed, how many are adjusted based on the appeal?
In fact, the initial appeal, we adjust between 60 to 70% right there at our desk.
Okay.
It's rare that it goes on to the next level of appeal, which is the County Board of Equalization, but a majority of those go on to that level because, one, we didn't receive the information, or the property owners are trying to gain that information either from CPAs, title companies, things like that, and we just go ahead and move it on to the next level. But 60-70% are just handled right within the office.
Great.
The residential rate is proposed to be 6.56% for year 2017-2018, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And that's for single-family residential properties, and 29% for commercial and vacant land. One thing that we're also considering is I have come in front of the board a number of times over the past 2 years to identify things and bring to your attention things that my office have been tracking for a number of years. Waldo Canyon, Manitou floods, what's happening up in those areas, Black Forest fire, the wind farm transmission line boundary that I've been tracking, and also the landslides. So those are areas that I'm sitting here and still tracking, still monitoring, and taking a look at those sales in those particular areas. Let's talk a little bit about some 2017 legislation that's happening up there in Denver. And this is a big deal. The 2017-2018 projected residential assessment rate is 6.56%, a 17.6% reduction from what our current residential assessment rate is right now, which is 7.96%. This new residential assessment rate is based largely on estimated residential values throughout the state of Colorado. So what happens is all 64 county assessors, we submit our data to the Division of Property Taxation. They take that data and basically build a study. They do a study on that to see what's going on with residential values. And what's been happening, if anybody's familiar with the Gallagher Amendment, where you have the 55-45 split, where 55% of the tax base is paid by commercial, non-residential property owners, and 45% from your residential property owners. But as we've seen along the Front Range, residential properties have been going up in value. And what they need to look at is they're going to probably be bringing down the residential assessment rate to comply with the Gallagher Amendment, to be at the 45%. As you see here, the estimated to drop from 7.96 to 6.56 would be the first decrease since 2003. And it will significantly decrease the amount of local property tax revenues for school districts and other municipalities here throughout our county. The preliminary findings of the residential assessment rate for 2017-2018, like I mentioned, was conducted by the Division of Property Taxation. That information was submitted to the SBOE, which is the State Board of Equalization, and to members of the Colorado General Assembly on Friday, January 13, 2017. But that is one thing where we have to look at. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks. So here's what I'm trying to understand. So if to comply with Gallagher, if we have to drop the tax rate, first of all, do they have an idea of what the real dollars are, how much that's going to be?
In fact, they actually do. What the estimate is to the local school districts is having to backfill $178 million to the local school districts here in the state of Colorado. I have sat down with county staff and looked at what the impact would be to El Paso County alone. My office, we are now preparing letters to over 300 taxing entities, mailing information out to them, letting them know this is what's going on up in Denver right now, because it will definitely impact them. And if they have any questions, to contact my office and let them know what the projection would be. But keep in mind, though, too, is we're seeing value increases in El Paso County. So some of that may offset as well.
So, it seems to me that, whenever I hear folks complain about K through 12 education and the negative factor and the lack of money going into K through 12, it seems to me the, excuse I always hear, or the reason, for the problems is Tabor. That's what people always say, it's Tabor. But realistically, in this circumstance, Gallagher is having a significant negative impact on K through 12 spending in the state of Colorado.
Right. Well, and Commissioner, I tell you bring up a very, very good point. One of which is, for a number of years, the residential assessment rate based on those studies should have actually gone up above 7.96%. However, in the state of Colorado, that is considered a tax increase, and it has to go to the vote of the people. And the majority of our citizens are residential property owners, of course. Who's going to vote for that? But now what you're looking at is the increase in single-family residential properties is now you're looking at the assessment rate going down, which is opposite of what we have seen in years 2007, 9, 11. So that's where they're looking at dropping it, where they do not need the vote of the people to drop the residential assessment rate.
And supposedly, I guess the other option they could approach is raising the commercial tax rate, which maybe, I don't know, the people would support or not support, but to get Gallagher in balance. Is that, is the state legislature looking at that at all? Do you know?
I do not know if they're looking at that, Commissioner, but I will tell you, in my 19 years in dealing with commercial vacant land property owners, knowing that they pay triple the taxes, it is 4 times, absolutely. Their assessment rate is 29%. And, there's times they're sitting there going, you know what, I'm just a little bit tired of this. It's huge, especially when you're looking at a vacant land property owner who's going, I have nothing on there. It's a 5-acre parcel, and I'm paying 29% on this. So it is a huge burden, one, on our business owners and our vacant land property owners. And I agree with them. When you're sitting there looking at paying, quadruple the taxes of a single-family residential property.
And the reason I bring that up, I just want to make sure that that's something that we all are paying attention to and can react to if the legislature decides to, go the route. I mean, I don't want to speak for the rest of the people on this commission, but go the route that I perceive would be, have the greatest negative impact on, the state of Colorado moving forward, and that'd be taxing businesses even more than we are now.
Right. Well, and I do plan on coming before you as this legislation moves forward, and and just keep county staff and you as a board up to date of what's going on with this. But as we were sitting there, the preliminary findings of this study showed the 2017-2018 residential target percentage is 43.79%. The assessment rate, as I stated, what is proposed is 6.56%, and that is a change, of course, from 7.96. Just to show you a little bit, how's that going to affect El Paso County based on this? Now, keep in mind, though, this is just off the 2016 abstract. This does not include some of the value increases that we are projecting here in El Paso County for year 2017. But going through that and using the proposed assessment rate, the estimated county revenue loss is going to be between $330,000 to $1.1 million. That is a pretty wide variable, but keep in mind, though, too, is we're considering looking at a number of different classes of value increases here in El Paso County. Like I said, is the real estate market here in El Paso County is extremely hot, and it's a great thing. We're seeing increases in multifamily, hotels, motels, things like that on the commercial side. And I'm going to be coming before you here in the next couple of weeks with those proposed percentage increases for all classes of property here in El Paso County.
Mr. President, question?
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Thank you. I appreciate Commissioner Waller's questions to you, and so I'm interested, obviously being new on the board, has it been traditionally the approach to adjust the residential tax rate and not do any adjustment on the commercial tax rate, and perhaps because the commercial tax rate is so high? So over the past years, it's just been the residential that's been modified.
Well, in fact, the residential hasn't been touched since 2003. But the thing is, though, the residential assessment rate is the one that's floating.
Okay.
So that is a floating assessment rate. But like I said, since 2003, that assessment rate should have been gone up. But again, that takes the vote of the citizens to basically say, you know what, let's go ahead and raise that, which everybody knows that's going to be a tax increase. But now we're sitting there looking at values of property along the Front Range on the residential side that have just basically pushed this above, the 45% per Gallagher, which is the reason why we're going to have to bring this down. So when I say we, that's the state.
So with the, I'm being told here that that this is the first time we've actually been through this process. Is that correct?
Since 2003.
Yeah, since 2003.
Yep.
So how was the balancing of the Gallagher Amendment addressed then in previous years? Because I imagine that has to be done, every year. So
Absolutely. Commissioner, again, they take our data, all assessors' data up there at the state, and they compile that information. It is looked at every year because, our market can change, within a 6-month time frame, 2-month time frame. But, what we have seen 2 reappraisals ago, we were in a down market. And, I remember our former assessor, Mark Louderman, coming before you and just saying, we're seeing a lot of reductions in all classes of property, but now we're seeing those property values rebounding and coming back. But it is studied every year. They do get our data, and they do make recommendations to the State Board of Equalization and also the General Assembly. But again, this is the first time since 2003 that we're looking at the residential assessment rate coming down. I do remember where the assessment rate when I first started in the assessor's office was a little bit above 11%. So that does adjust.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. And not to belabor the point, but I'll take you up on your offer. I'll come by and chat with you and get a better understanding about what's
Perfect.
going on there. I do have one other question, and it comes back to a few charts in the past, but we don't need to go back to the chart. And that's with regard to your new website, which I'm highly encouraged about, what that's delivering for the community. the assessment I have of it is it looks like it's helping in the arena of transparency and openness for county operations to citizens, should they choose to take a look. But I do have an interest, and if you mentioned it, I might have missed it, but what kind of feedback are you getting from the community about the website?
Well, in fact, you're about 2 slides ahead of me, and I was going to
Okay.
address that. So I tell you, I'll
I'll
get
stand
back to
by.
that question here real quick, Commissioner.
I'll stand by, thank you.
Okay. If there's no further questions, I just want to basically show you what is happening here with the change in the residential assessment.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Sorry.
I do have one question on this same slide that's up. You got the actual values for the 2 rates, obviously showing the savings on the actual value. But in the 2 years since, that actual value would have been readjusted up, however much the property values have gone up, say 15% or 10%. Does that partially offset that? Not quite?
Absolutely.
Or how much would that offset be?
Absolutely. In fact, as you see there, I just basically stuck with the, the average value of a $300,000 single-family residential property at the different assessment rates, and you see where the difference in taxes is. On the new assessment rate, that property owner is going to see a reduction of $315 in taxes. To your question, with the increases in property values that we're seeing, let's say we raise that single-family property 15%. That property will come to $345,000. And, you multiply that times the new assessment rate, mill levy, and I've done that calculation, that property will still see a reduction in taxes of roughly about $175.
Thank you. So it still shows a negative
It
net
does.
loss in
Absolutely.
revenue. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So on to some exciting news. Thanks to the board and allowing me to sit there and approve going with a company called Spatialist. We are getting ready to launch, and when I say we, is a number of folks in El Paso County, came together. Before I go into this presentation in regards to El Paso County community, it'd only be right that I thank a number of folks that really put some hard work into this, and one of which is Jeff Eckert. He and his staff were absolutely exemplary in this. We actually went into contracts on this program about 90 days ago, and now we're getting ready to launch. And these folks tested this. The president of the company, his comment was, this was the most tested any county in the nation has done on this. And they actually took some of the ideas and changes that we have come through the testing process that they're going to pass on to other counties. So a lot of great things happened over there in our county IT department. But individuals like Jeff Eckert, Jessica Caesar, Mike Dyson, my deputy assessor, Mark Flucher, and Steve Fisher, they worked very, very hard on this project. And we also got a lot of input from Nicholas Sapp, Deanne McCann, Henry Yankowski. But again, I just like to thank them. This is something that is going to be extremely beneficial to the citizens of El Paso County. One thing I like to share with you is when I was hired 19 years ago in El Paso County, my first day in the office, I remember huge cabinets full of paper. And we basically had vaults full of these cabinets and full of paper, just files and files and files. Well, when I was hired, we were going through this process of, you know what, let's get rid of the paper and let's put them into this thing called a database. And, we all can remember those days, and I remember putting these little stickies on there and putting into our Hummingbird system. I think it's now time that the government looks at how do we take it out of the database and push that information out to our citizens. And this is a big step for El Paso County and our citizens. In short, community uses maps and the visualization tools to better understand and explain things or relationships. Share information with our citizens, collaborate disparate data to join systems and to better engage the citizens of El Paso County. This platform is actually pulling data from a number of governmental entities and pushing that information out there on one platform. Community is an online tool set that provides a powerful dashboard of information based upon a map interface. If it can be mapped, it can be put out there on Community. It connects any data provided coherent, analytical, and decision support system, which is something extremely important to me. Especially when we're looking at going into the 2017 appeal process here starting May 1, is I would basically want to have our property owners make an informed decision. Here soon, they're going to have the ability where they can pull up their own neighborhood and see what the sales are doing. And they can make an informed decision going, you know what, the value the assessor just placed on my property, I can see where he's getting it from. Here's what's happening in my neighborhood. So now they're going to have those tools to make an informed decision. The visualization of data from a variety of sources within a map-based environment offers a wide range of advantages and benefits. The removal of the silo mentality that a lot of government entities go with, the ability to consider patterns and trends, the ability to investigate or support decision-making processes are all huge advantages. Anything that has a geographic element can be included, making community a powerful tool for us, El Paso County, and also our citizens. What I would like to do, though, is do a demo, but before I do that, I just basically want to see if anybody want to make any comments that had put some effort into this. Deanne?
Good morning, Deanne McCann, El Paso County Economic Development Manager. I cannot applaud the assessor too highly for this. This is just going to really change, I think, the economic development environment, housing, so many levels that we all rely on. The tool that the assessor has had for so long, I don't know about you all, but we use it constantly in our office. And to make this even more available with more information can't hurt us at all. So I want to thank Steve for doing that, as well as Jeff. I know he's done a great deal of work on it. Thank you.
Commissioner
Brian?
Littleton.
Actually, we were a guest speaker at an event, and Brian's like, this is some cool stuff.
You're missing the Irish accent is all. So
That's, yeah.
the gentleman who helped put this together is from Ireland, has a great Irish accent, so it helped with the whole presentation, I think. You know, I think this is a great program, and I really look forward to using it in sales and use tax and how we can look at how, you know, it's collected throughout the whole region, through the Pikes Peak region here. So it'll be a great tool for us, and more on economic data and that. So
Okay.
thanks.
Commissioner
Jeff?
Littleton.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
So Steve, gosh, it was at least 9 months ago, I think, we were looking at, you know, some of the aerial activity, you know, using drones, et cetera. Does this incorporate that? Is this kind of the, okay. And if so, you might want to talk to, because I know Commissioner Vanderwerf has been working on some other things with, you know, drones and utilizing them here within El Paso County to make sure that you guys collaborate as well, so that we have a great return on investment for whatever we're doing. So,
Absolutely.
all right.
Good morning, Jeff Eckhart with IT. You know, IT is really best when we come alongside an elected official and help them take the emerging technology to their citizens. So I don't have a lot to say besides I'm glad that Steve's excited, and I think when you see this demo, you'll see what a tremendous community service this is going to be. Thanks.
Thanks, bud. Go ahead. All right, let's go ahead and let's drive this a little bit. All right.
You might have to open up a new web browser.
There we go. All right. So here on the initial page that every property owner, you know, will pull up, and again, keep in mind, this is an enhancement to my current website. You know, to answer your question in regards to citizen input, I did reach out to folks from the Pikes Peak Association of Realtors. I also reached out to Korea, which is the Colorado Association of Real Estate Appraisers, sat down with some professionals, and, you know, went through this, got their input, basically, you know, implemented some of the statements and things that they were wanting to use out there in the field. One thing that is great about this is now this information is adaptable to smartphones and iPads. And so our property owners out there, our real estate community can now use this stuff on the fly as they're out there, because a majority of them, their office is their vehicle, and they're working from there. But you know, when you sit there and you pull this information up, you're looking at an area overview, and you're looking at total population, a breakdown between male, female, different ages. Where are we pulling that data? Well, like I said, is we have a number of governmental entity databases that we're pulling from, which is free information where if citizens wanted to know this, they have to go to different websites. Well, now we're going to put it on one platform for our citizens here in El Paso County, but we're pulling U.S. Census data. You also look down, and what is the breakdown in regards to the property classifications and the values here in El Paso County? One thing you also look at is the assessment, and you can pull that information up, and we'll go in a little bit on that as well. Census data, where you can sit there and pull up what are the median household income and median age. Also a breakdown as far as education attainment. When you sit there and take a look at here in El Paso County, what's the education? That is, you know, a big factor when you have businesses coming in and they'll sit there and say, you know, El Paso County's got some really educated citizens there, and we can really draw from those individuals to hire them. Sales information. That is where we can now sit there and educate our citizens of what's going on in their neighborhoods, what's going on in a particular commissioner district, and I'll sit there and drive through that as well. How about permits? You know, what is happening? Is there a new construction? We see, you know, bulldozers going out there and breaking ground, and folks are, you know, just sitting there going, is that a new home going in, or is that a new, you know, multifamily? But now we're going to be able to show the permits and put that information out there. Different map layers, where now our citizens can sit there and identify where's our county parks. And now they can actually click on this and find out where all their county parks at, city parks, incorporated cities, fire districts, military bases here within our community. And we go back to the property search, so which is always a big tool. But let's go ahead and let's break this down. And let's use, since Commissioner Vanderwerf, we'll use Commissioner District 3 since you answered the question. So we'll go ahead and pull up the west side of Colorado Springs. So that there is your commissioner district. Has a breakdown of male, female within your district. It basically shows the ages of, you know, basically the population within your district. The number of properties. That way, and it also breaks down what the total appraised value of $17.29 billion of value, of property value within your district. Breaking it down from agriculture, commercial, exempt, industrial, natural resources, residential, and vacant land. What's the average sale price? What's happening within your district? Values going up? Are they going down? Year-on-year sales growth. But, you know, let's take a look at some of the census data and find out, you know, what is going down here. What is the education attainment within Commissioner District 3? You're able to look at that information. What is the median age? You know, you're looking at slightly over 40 years old as the median age of citizens within Commissioner District 3. Let's take a look at sales. Let's go ahead and pull up sales that have occurred within a 12-month time frame, $1 million or more. We'll go ahead and it basically puts that information out there. And this is good information for real estate agents and for citizens to find out, you know, what is happening here in the local real estate market. And how it's broken down, what the low sale, 1.02 million, to the high sale of 5.95 million. Keep in mind, these sales are not only single family. We put vacant land sales out there for folks to take a look at, and also commercial sales. So what is happening in the business community? And let's take a look at the permits. So you can sit there and identify the commercial permits, multifamily permits that have been pulled through regional building, residential, remodel, additions, and also residential for new residential permits. And it also breaks down what the total count, the total in dollar amount, and the average as far as the permits. And you can break that down going, I'm interested in only seeing what the commercial permit is. And you can see there's a lot of activity that's going on. And you can go ahead and pull that information up like a sale, and it will give the user the total permit information of what's happened with that particular property. You can go into permit charts, figure out what's happening here, the summary. So basically what we're doing is we're taking things from a database, which is columns and rows. People are just, they don't look at that information, and now we have the ability to put it into a statistical and a visual format for our citizens. And again, educating them, that way they can make informed decisions in regards to their property, if they want to appeal, for economic development purposes, when a business wants to come in and find out what is the mill levy in a particular area if I want to go ahead and build there. That's important information, and that's information where they, before, would call either economic development or the assessor's office to get that. Now they have this right at their computer. Let's take a look at map layers and take where are the county parks? So now they're able to identify that, and they can actually zoom in using the tool and figure out where Bear Creek Park is. Citizens may hear, hey, you know, where is Fox Run? And we're going to go up there and do Commissioner Littleton's race. And so, you know, that way they can actually now pull this information up, and it's right there at their computer. Property search, you can actually go in and identify a single property if you want to pull it up. And let's take it beyond that, is we all get the calls. A property owner is moving into town, which is a great thing, and they want to know what school district that they're going to, the house that they're buying, is it in school district 20? Is it in school district 11? What district is my house in? And now they're able to identify that. So we'll pull up the boundary for school district 20. It will identify the county parks, whatever map overlays the user wants to put on there, and identify if they're sitting there purchasing a property up there in Peregrine, they're going to be in school district 20. In addition, this map, as the same, you could pull up the same information, and here are all the $1 million sales within school district 20. But Jeff, do you want to drive a little bit? Go into a little bit more?
So the only thing that I've seen that you haven't really touched on yet that I found interesting this morning is I did a parcel search on Stone Street. I don't know why I picked that. I did. I don't know why. Oh, here we go. So one of the things that Steve mentioned is we're in a soft launch mode, meaning we're going to debut this to the county employees first to help us chase out the last bugs, including.
Can you speak into the microphone, please? Yeah.
Sure.
There you
We're
go.
going to
Thank you.
chase out the last bugs, including what this grid of 149 boxes really means, because I'm not real sure myself. If I click on one of these properties, and the one I did this morning actually had a picture showing all the information plus the picture of the house plus a map. So instead of it going to 3 websites or 3 clicks, I go to 1 click and I can see all the information in one spot. What else, Steve? Did you want me to?
Do satellite up at the top. Maybe it'll show the house if you do satellite on the map part, right there.
So I think when the appraisers go out and they appraise a property, they'll actually take a picture of the front of it. So some of the properties have pictures, some of them don't. But if it does, it'll show up in that property card there, along with this overhead. Yeah. I think I go back this way, right? And let me go again. Maybe this one will have a picture. Maybe it won't. Get the IT guy up here, and it always has to do this, you know. Not pretty sure on that one either. But it actually does link back to your website also.
Absolutely.
So, what else do we want to do here, Steve? Anything?
No, is there any questions?
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Yeah, no questions. I'm just impressed. Well, I guess maybe I do have a question. What's the scheduled plan for making it available to the public?
In fact, you know, as Jeff just alluded to, we're going to do a soft launch, and I believe we're going to be doing that this week or first part of next week. We're sending that to all county staff, where they can sit there and go into the link that we just pulled up. They can go in, maneuver around, play with it a little bit, and provide input. And, you know, and that's important because, you know, again, a lot of us here live on the assessor's website. And that way you can sit there and take a look and go, and, have you thought about this? But once we work through that, which I don't believe will take too long, my goal is probably to launch this to the public in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And, what I hope to do is I'm going to do a public announcement through our PIO to let our citizens know. And again, this is an enhancement to the current assessor's website, just another tool for our public. And what I plan on doing is going out in the community and doing some demo, to show folks what the capabilities of this tool is for them, and, maneuver around a little bit and just, hit each commissioner district and, show our citizens. And I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of our real estate community that are going to be taking me up on that.
Yeah, it's a great topic for when we have various commissioner district meetings. Bring you along and kind of show that off. So
Absolutely.
excellent.
Thanks, Commissioner.
One more comment. So one of the things that we've
Commissioner
talked.
Littleton, hold
Oh,
on.
I was
I'm
just going
sorry,
to
go
say, people
ahead.
won't have to use Zillow anymore, right? They can just go to.
One of the things that we've talked about is this is a data visualization platform that can be used for multiple offices. So picture election results here, picture economic development activities, anything that is in a database that can be mapped. You can see a way to unlock that power that's been in these databases for 50 years that now we can finally get in people's hands, and they can use that data for whatever purpose.
Jeff just brought up a very good point that I just completely forgot about. Another individual that I'd like to applaud is Chuck Borman. He had, some input on this as well. And what we have done is we are sitting there and putting election precincts. We're going to be putting the election results out there by precincts, where, folks are going, what happened in precinct 106, or 101? And again, there's precinct 101, and, they are currently, our clerk and recorder is currently loading the election data out onto the FTP site to put that information out there, which is another tool set that we're going to have to test to make sure everything is correct. But again, this is information that I think every department within El Paso County could take advantage of and push their information out to our citizens.
Good. Commissioner Littleton.
Thank you. And as we know, databases like this and websites like this are only as good as the data that's given to be input. So how frequently do people update and or input this, and are you guys the ones that are the chasers of the information to import into this, or are you relying on other people from the real estate community or et cetera to do that?
Very good question, and you're absolutely right. Garbage in, garbage out. So what you're looking at, of course, with the census data, that data is stagnant until we do another, go through another census. But this data is going to be updated daily through my database, because ownership changes, property, sales occur daily. So that information is going to be updated nightly through this. So our citizens should have the most up-to-date information, which is something that they are currently used to with the assessor's website. So we wanted that all to be the same. So again, it's information that is provided to our office. My staff key that information into the, our database, and that's where basically that information is going to be pushed out to the assessor's website and also to community.
Excellent.
Another quick question?
Mr. Vanderwerth.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, impressive, and I'm sure that this is going to be a great tool for citizens. Maybe one comment, some of them might be a little bit surprised at how much publicly available information is already there, which you are now going to be able to display very efficiently to them. That might be a bit of a surprise to a few of them. But on another question for you and for your staff and your team there, is this tool going to help? I imagine it will, but I'd like to hear what you say. Going to help you be a lot more efficient at doing your duties, and particularly because we've got a lot of sales and new valuations of homes. You've got a pretty busy office right now, so comment to that a little bit.
Absolutely. If I could take you back 19 years. So when I was hired, we had 5 people, 6 people sitting on our front line. Their job was to answer the assessor's phone, take care of individuals that came to the counter, and just take care of their needs and concerns, that they brought forth to the assessor's office. And if you remember, in 1999, that's when we were sitting there getting our first Blackberries, and we were sitting there in the internet boom, and the website started going up. And it was at that time, too, that the county launched the website, and that's when the assessor's website was born. That website alone has created a number of efficiencies within my office. One of which is I've gone down from 6 folks sitting on the front counter to 2. And, you know, you look at that, and that's 4 full-time employees. In addition to that, you know, when you're looking at technology, is when I was hired again back in, the late 90s, we had 72 full-time employees. Today I have 47. What has changed? One is this county has grown dramatically since the late 90s. The number of parcels have increased, number of single-family residential properties, the number of new neighborhoods here in El Paso County since 1999. We all can remember growing up here, and some of us can tell stories of when Chapel Hills Mall was brand new. I can remember them breaking dirt in the 80s on that. We all can tell stories. But El Paso County is a growing, thriving community, a great community. But technology absolutely has created efficiencies, and this will definitely create efficiency. To be a little bit selfish, one of the reasons why I came up and researched this, one is it's something that I campaigned for. I know how important my website is to the community, and one of my campaign platforms was to enhance the assessor's website and push the information out to our citizens. And that's exactly what this is doing, is pulling a number of governmental entities, and now it's a one-stop, here you go, to our citizens. Instead of going to the census data, instead of going to other different governmental entities, it's all right there for them. To answer your question, absolutely. I'm going to be looking at efficiencies gained, especially during the appeals process. Mm-hmm. And now citizens can sit there and look at their notice of value and say, that assessor increased my value 8%. Where is he coming up with this information? Now they're able to sit there and go on to community and see what's going on in their particular neighborhood and look at recent sales that have occurred and make an informed decision if they want to appeal or not.
Very
Absolutely.
good. Anybody else? Commissioner Littleton.
I just want to commend you as well. I know, knowing you and knowing the process kind of that you went through over the 9 months as we were looking, I looked at a couple of the different things. This is probably the most efficient, cost-effective tool that you could find to give to citizens. And I think it's beautiful because we all know that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And you've given a million words, by giving picture for people to really be able to digest and disaggregate that data themselves. So thank you for your efforts.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner. I do look forward to working with each one of you individually. So as we sit there and do the launch to our public, to our citizens, and, again, I'd like to work with each one of you and go out and, do some demos in your particular commissioner districts and, show folks how they can use this as a tool set to their daily work. Because there are some that use this. When the website goes down, trust me, my phone is ringing off the hook. So they use it all the time. But I appreciate your time. And again, I could not applaud the staff of El Paso County, the job that they have done here in getting this launched in a timely manner before NOVs go out.
Well, and do me a favor and make sure you circle back with our PAO, because we want to mark this down for our state of the region, because we want to be able to highlight some of the big things that we've done through the years. So this is going to be an area where we'll probably shoot a little video of you talking about this particular thing. So,
that's a scary thing, Commissioner.
well, everybody up here is going to get an opportunity to kind of highlight some big thing that's happening within their district and what's happening in the community. So this is something that I definitely want to earmark for the state of the region.
Perfect. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.